Alright, so last night everybody knows that Laura Lee posted her apology, and I had posted a video that had nothing to do with it, but I clickbaited a lot of people, and although it made a lot of people mad, it made me realize that a very few percentage of people actually want to hear my opinion. And I feel like my opinion is so different from everybody else's, and that's why I deleted my first video, because I was just like, maybe this is too much. Maybe people can't handle this opinion yet. But I'm just going to say it, and, if you feel a certain type of way, let me know in the comments. But this is just how I feel. Alright, so I shortened my 30-minute video down to 5 minutes. It's just basically 3 main points I want to hit on. Now, the first point I want to hit on is these brand trips that they send beauty gurus on. Now, these brands spend a lot of money on these dreamy vacation getaways, which they get to invite a +1. Everything's, free. And I don't question that. I don't question how much money they spend. And the reason being is because it's simply practicing good business etiquette. Because, if you're a business and you have a good year, what do? You give your employees a raise. And in this case, when you're collaborating with an influencer, you would take them on a vacation so you can, possibly meet who you've been collaborating with all year and mingle. And yeah, it makes sense. What gets me is that I've noticed in almost every picture that they post of these brand trips, I've noticed that there's an obvious lack of diversity in these pictures, in particular of dark-skinned people. Now, an influencer tried to argue with me once whenever I had asked the brand, why is there no diversity in this picture? And they basically said that it was the way the picture looked, and that if I looked at their races on paper, it would show that this picture is in fact diverse. However, in first impression judgment of someone's race is always based on their skin color and not on what their ethnicity says on paper. When you walk into Sephora, the lady doesn't ask for your ethnicity. She looks at your skin color. And I feel like these brands are making shade ranges that are not inclusive at all, not just to women of color, but darker women of color. And then they host these brand trips and don't invite but 1 or 2 women of color. And I'm starting to think that these people in the higher up departments of these brands just simply don't value women of color enough to be inclusive. And I just want to remind people that this is truly about darker skinned people. And I say people because both men and women do makeup, not having dark enough shades for their skin color. And of course, there's always the exception. And the brands that do come out with shade ranges that are appropriate, it's always after immense pressure. And I feel like they're doing it because it's trendy.
Even when this trend passes on, it's still gonna be a problem for me. It's still gonna be something that's important to me. It's still gonna be something that I'm gonna talk about because it's not trendy for me. This is something I live with on a day-to-day basis.
And I'm not the only one who thinks this. So now this brings me to my second point. Not only are these brands not being inclusive, but we're also finding out that the people they choose to represent their brand and promote their brand, we're finding out that they always have a past history of racism. And what Laura Lee said wasn't a retweet. She typed those words out. And it just irks me that she tries to spin the narrative that she retweeted these words. Here's why I don't think Laura Lee is sorry, regardless if you want to try to analyze if her apology was sincere. Here's the thing. She waited until she fell under 5 million subscribers to actually make an apology video. Then in her apology video, she is completely untangible. You could not understand a word she's saying. And then on top of that, it seems like Manny and Laura both took some pointers from drama channels because all week they've been saying, this is how you apologize, this is what you need to do. And it's like they took their advice and did exactly that. It's like, dude, that's not what we actually wanted. We wanted a sincere apology, not to just do what we told you to do. And it really doesn't even matter at this point what Laura Lee says, because the simple fact that she deleted all of her tweets when those old tweets came up just tells me that she has a guilty conscience. And that alone will never let me trust her again. I just won't trust her again. If she would have left those tweets up, if she would have, you know, left all the derogatory tweets that she tried to hide from us, because she did successfully hide the rest from us. We weren't able to get the rest. But had she left them up, I would have had more respect for her than I do now. And my third point I want to hit on. I don't think Manny and Laura actually care about having a makeup brand. And I promise you, give it 2 or 3 years, but both of their brands will be gone. And let me explain to you why. Remember when Jeffree Star was explaining to Shane the profit that one can make off of a single palette? And it was like insane. It was like $1 to $5 million. Now, if you can fork over half the costs to make the palettes, you can pull it off, right? With the right labs and whatnot. But to them, selling whatever makeup they sell for that little time period, I think to them it's like selling merch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they treat their makeup palettes and their little lip glosses they come out with every couple of months as merchandise they sell for the time being. Because I promise you, give it 2 or 3 years when Manny and Laura are not as relevant as they are today. Because you can tell that their relevancy is declining every day. Even before this drama happened, they were losing relevance. But long story short, I promise you they will not have a makeup company in the future. And with those 3 points, I'm going to say that I think the beauty community has a lot of issues to work out. And I'm not going to believe an apology from a beauty guru or a brand, especially when they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And you want to know why Laura Lee's apology really missed the mark? Laura, you really want to know why? Because you didn't apologize to the people that you actually hurt. You hurt fat people, you hurt people of color, but in my opinion, you offended people of color the most. And I never heard you say, I apologize to anyone of color I may have offended. Apology. You tried to deflect the situation by saying you retweeted words that you had actually typed. And I even went back and watched the video to make sure I was right. And here's what I have to say, and this is the last thing I have to say on this entire subject. Now, I'm likely speaking directly toward Laura when I say this, and I know she probably won't watch my video, but Laura Lee, put on your big girl panties. What are you, 29 years old? And you got on camera acting like a 12-year-old whose mom didn't buy her Gucci slides? When you can get on camera and act like an adult and make a real apology and not a video where you're trying to get everybody to feel sorry for you, I think it'll work better in your favor. And I think that's when you'll stop bleeding subscribers. Because all you're doing at this point is just pissing off your audience even more. I mean, that's the truth. You're pissing us off. I mean, when I saw your apology, a rage filled inside of my soul. And I should not feel rage when I watch an apology video. Like, that just shouldn't happen. And that's all I'm going to say on this drama. This is why I can't be a drama channel, because I would be the one person in the community just making a damn fool of myself, popping off every 2 seconds, because I feel like my opinions are just out of this world sometimes. Sometimes you could be talking about Manny MUA saying something stupid, and I'll be like, well, the way Manny MUA did his makeup the other day just tells me that he was actually shading James Charles. Like, I've seen it in the eyeliner. And that's why I'm not a drama channel. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all in another video that's not a drama video.